Kali Linux is a Linux distribution by Offensive Security, and it is used to run penetration tests for the forces of good. On Kali Linux is something called the Social Engineering Toolkit, or SEToolkit for short. Its purpose is essentially to try and trick people into doing compromising things. What my group was supposed to be doing for this project was to go over what the multi-attack web method does in SEToolkit. Unfortunately, it wasn't as easy to get working as we initially thought. We basically threw ourselves into the cybersecurity ocean with zero idea of what was going on. So for the sake of saving time, we're just going to show what we got working and explain what it's supposed to do. The purpose of multi-attack web method is pretty much to just throw a whole bunch of attack methods together at once to see which ones work. Specifically, we have the option to use the Java applet attack method, the Metasploit browser exploit method, the credential harvesting method, the tab nabbing attack method, and or the webjacking method. Unfortunately, as our journey of pain and suffering uncovered, SEToolkit is a very needy little bugger. First of all, it requires Metasploit for a lot of its functionality, which apparently may or may not require a license. So firstly, we have to sudo curl a GitHub repository with the Metasploit framework, run the installer, sudo into the MSF console, exit, start some sort of service called PostgreSQL, then initialize the MSF database. But that's not all. You have to also start running an Apache 2 web server. To do that, you have to start the server with sudo apache 2ctl start. You can check the status if you want to, but then you have to go all the way to root, then to etc, then to SEToolkit so that you can sudo vim into set.config, then change the Apache server switch from off to on. So after starting up SEToolkit with sudo, you press 1, press 2, then press 6. Multi-attack won't work with a template, and making a custom site is too much effort, so we'll just clone the facebook.com login page instead, and not use port forwarding since this is just being tested on our subnet. Since we just spent so much time talking about Metasploit, we'll use that first. After it clones the website, it asks for an exploit to use, so I selected an Adobe Flash exploit. I then select the payload to spawn a reverse TCP shell, which if successful would allow me to send commands to execute on the victim's computer. It launches Apache, then starts the server. The server looks something like this on the victim's end. Unfortunately, I have something misconfigured, so the exploit won't run. Next, we'll show off the Java applet attack. It's essentially supposed to spoof a Java certificate, then utilize Metasploit for payloads. It will ask you for the payload you want, the default is memory injection, as well as the shellcode payload you want. Unfortunately, the exploit ends here, since for some reason we're missing binary files. We've already done Credential Harvester, so I won't really get into it. It's supposed to work the same, but for some reason it breaks if an Apache 2 server is running. I think. Sometimes. I'm not actually sure. I'm pretty sure I got it working exactly once with multi-attack, but I don't remember how. After that, there's tab nabbing and webjacking. Tab nabbing is where an open tab changes to a new page after the user has clicked off of it, which can trick the user into entering their credentials. Webjacking is where the victim is sent a page telling them that the website that they're trying to access has moved, and that they should click the link, which redirects them to a fake page. Neither of these exploits work as they are missing a JavaScript file, which is apparently because we're supposed to create one ourselves on Kali Linux. It auto-generates in Ubuntu. Finally, there's the nuke option, with funny little ASCII art. It uses everything except for tab nabbing by default. Unfortunately, since nothing else works, this won't work either. Of course, you don't have to go with all or nothing, you can mix and match as you please. And that's about it for the multi-attack. For now, I guess. One day I'll probably look back and laugh.